Hello, Dr. Diamond Club podcast listeners. My name is Brian Wright, national keynote speaker, CEO of New Patient Group, the founder of the Dr. Diamond Club, and co-host of the Dr. Diamond Club podcast. Today, we're going to focus on internal marketing and how it trumps everything. And now it's time to get started, guys. Let's go into what biology tells us about the consumer decision-making process. That's what it's going to be about today. And understanding that dentistry, and orthodontics included, not as much of an orthodontic practice as in dentistry, but it's still all becoming a commodity. Here in Houston, in our home base, there's over 3,000 GP practices alone. Literally on every corner, you cannot go by a shopping center almost anywhere in Houston and not find a dental practice. And that means it's become a commodity. It's not to lower the importance of your clinical expertise or anything like that whatsoever. But there's never been a time where it's become more important to do everything in your practice like a high-level business. And that's why we want to discuss today what gets a consumer to tell you yes, to say yes to you at higher levels. First of all, and I want you guys to have this in your head at all times. We talk about this inside your practices for those of you who are bringing us in. Our videos in the Practice Growth Program talk about this quite often. Marketing is anything that can influence the impression of your business, anything. And that's science and biology talking, because anything you do is marketing. How you talk, how you speak, how your staff speaks, the decor at your office, how your clinical abilities are, the list goes on and on and on. It is marketing. There's not one thing your practice does not do that does not fall into the categories of marketing. And again, that's science, and why it's important to have that mindset. Because everything you're doing is going into the consumer decision-making process. And there's 3 steps. And you guys, a lot of you have seen these videos, and we constantly reinforce this with you, that every single patient that walks into your practice, and before they even do so, this relates to your external marketing, digital marketing, and when they pick up the phone to call you. Every single person goes through the 3 steps that you see on the screen right there. They have to first understand their purchase, and it's the same way whether they're buying a Mercedes, a flat screen TV, or your prescribed clinical treatment. Again, not to compare your clinical abilities with a Mercedes, obviously. But again, we're in a society today where your business has to function at high levels because people can choose you or somebody else or nobody at all. So they have to first understand what it is that's being presented to them. And the next slide is going to show you a startling statistic that a lot of you have heard about us talk about, but we're going to talk about it again today. They've got to understand it in order to value it. Only at that time will they make a decision to purchase from you, refer to you, write a testimonial, etc. And you have to be an expert on how you get more patients to go through that 3-step process to choose you over the competition. Now, the reason why those arrows are also pointing in a New Patient Group, and I want to reinforce this to all of you out there. Everything we're trying to do with your practice, no matter what services you're utilizing with us, we are trying to attempt all 3 steps of that process. We are implementing verbiage skills, marketing to get them to understand it better. And therefore, we're implementing things that are going to allow them to value your treatment and your business more in order to get them to purchase and refer, etc. from you. So important that you understand every person in your practice is going through that. Now, the reason why I bring that up today, among many other reasons, is the fact that consumers have a lack of perceived value for dentistry. Now, not just dentistry. The stat you're looking at on the screen encompasses orthodontics and all the other specialties within dentistry as well. Only half the country, this is not our stat, visits a dentist. Our stat that we track shows that far less than 50% actually spend money at a dentist. But only half the country even visit one to begin with. And how do we put more value? And that's why that previous slide is so important, is that if more consumers understood why they needed it, and if more consumers saw value, not just in the clinical aspects, but the commercial aspects, because remember, consumers are not clinical. So you have to do things on a commercial level to get consumers to buy from you at a higher level. And again, this is not to insult you or anybody else, but consumers don't understand if you're a good clinician or not. Well, wait a minute, Brian, what are you talking about? They don't understand because you could put the worst crown in the back of their mouth. And if you don't hurt them and they got a great experience, they're going to go tell people you're great. They don't get what you get. They understand pain and they understand a great commercial experience. which is why you have to put a great commercial experience, which is marketing, into your practice so we can get more than 50% of the nation to visit a dentist like they should. Now today, the 8 psychology principles of persuasion. Reciprocity, effective frequency, the domino effect, authority, scarcity, consistency, consensus, and liking. I really want all of you out there, especially our own clients, I want you guys taking notes on this, because a lot of this stuff, again, you can go back to your practice growth platform and you'll notice that a lot of the stuff that we're doing fall under all 8 of those psychology principles. So important. We're not just going, hey, you should do this just for the heck of it. Every single thing that we're teaching you is proven by science to get people to choose you at higher levels. Now, if you decide to implement one of the things that we're talking about today, is it going to make a big difference? It might. It might make a difference. But the goal, like anything else, is to implement them all together to create a powerful consumer message so you will vastly outproduce your competition. And same for the people that are on today that aren't our current clientele. Take notes. Take notes on this stuff. It's extremely, extremely important. Now let's dive in. Remember, we're talking about the psychology principles of persuasion. So let's look at persuasion, what the actual definition of it is. Persuasion is a successful, intentional effort at influencing another's mental state through communication via education. That is what persuasion is. It attempts to change the minds or get people to act, or really both for that matter. And because you are a business-to-consumer organization, don't overlook that. We talk about that a lot. You not only compete with another dentist down the street, or if you're another orthodontist down the street, sure, that's your competition. But your competition is also anywhere else that is convincing, persuading consumers to spend their money there. So you're in competition with every business offering services, products, etc. to a consumer. Don't overlook that. Matter of fact, that's more your competition than another dentist or orthodontist down the street. Extremely important to have that mindset. What do I need to do to get people to choose my business? And everything is marketing. Everything. Now let's dive in and go through these 8 steps. Talk about some quick tips that you can implement into your practice. Reciprocity. The definition of reciprocity is a conditioned response where people are compelled to return the kindness of a gift, even if they really don't want to. And I love that last part, because I know in my life, there's been times I've done things for people, and inside my head I'm like, geez, I really don't feel like doing this, but I do it anyway. And there's a reason. There's not a reason I just did it out of the blue on a whim. No, it's science. And reciprocity deals with doing something for somebody else first and doing something of value that's customized that they can appreciate. And in turn, they're going to be more likely to do something for you. And there are countless amounts of examples. And the reason why we're talking about reciprocity first today, it is, I believe, the single best weapon that you have at your disposal for consumer influence. I don't think that there's anything better. And there's absolutely hundreds of examples on any given day, in any size practice, where you can use reciprocity to grow your business. We're going to talk about 2 tips today. A lot of you already know about the new patient welcome email, but I want you to see this because I want you to see the quality of what you can get it to and how cool this one in particular is. Because the new patient welcome email, you guys know we've talked about it with you, and if we haven't gotten to that point in the program, this is a form of internal marketing. Again, everything is marketing. This is an internal marketing method of giving something of value to that consumer before they've showed up to your practice to become a patient. And because you're doing that, it just is one more thing you're doing that nobody else is. Other people send welcome emails, but they're blah. I mean, think about all the welcome emails you've gotten from any business in your life. I mean, who cares, right? It's a welcome email, so what? So how do you take the ordinary, how do you take the blah, and turn it into something fabulous where that patient goes, wow, this place is really cool. And that goes back to a consumer experience. How do you get consumers to choose you? The sound may not be great on this, but I'm going to go ahead and play it for you so you guys can see what we're trying to accomplish.
Hi, I'm Dr. Emily Del Mastro, and on behalf of our team here at Minnesota Orthodontics, I want to welcome you to our orthodontic family. Let's get started.
Hi, welcome to Minnesota Orthodontics. I'm Dr. Regina Blevins. This is our digital scanner. It replaces impressions and allows us to show you a simulation of your smile straight.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Donna Stenberg, and we're thrilled to have you here to help you achieve the beautiful and healthy smile that you've always dreamed of.
Hello, I am Dr. Delia Delarancho. You will love our 10 unique, one-of-a-kind location. And I hope I'm going to see you soon.
So you guys can see that as an example of doing something where the consumer can go, wow, that's pretty cool. And you're already one step ahead. Especially, you're probably 2 or 3 steps ahead if the new patient telephone call goes the way we taught it, because that's another internal marketing method to success. How you get the consumer excited, how you constantly, every step of the appointment, get them ecstatic to not only show up, but show up ready to buy and show up expecting to make your practice their practice for life. So important. So you have to have, this is a commercial marketing, internal marketing method that a consumer can understand. This speaks the consumer language. So very important. Now, the other quick tip, and you guys have this in the Practice Growth platform, there's videos about it, and I hope you're implementing it. Because again, a great idea that sits on the shelf, not so great. So it's extremely important. Is think about it for a second. When do you give the welcome gift? For the orthodontist listening, when do you give your welcome gift? Most do it at the end of the appointment, or they do it if the patient starts treatment. A lot of times, GP practices do a gift, but maybe it's a hygiene gift after they're leaving their appointment. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, the problem with it is, and again, it goes back to running your practice like a high-level business in today's competitive marketplace with a savvy consumer. How do you do it based on what science is telling you? And what biology says, based on reciprocity, is you give that welcome gift up front. The moment they walk through the door, you make it a part of your VIP greeting and you give them a welcome gift. Now, it can be anything. Now, the better the gift, remember reciprocity, it's not just giving something first, it's giving something of value first. So the better you make that gift, if it's a coffee mug, people love coffee mugs. That's one example of many, but a coffee mug, I think, is one of the best welcome gifts you can give because people actually use it. But it can be anything. Even if you gave a toothbrush up front, that's better than either not doing anything or giving a better gift at the end. Because I love that sign there where it says, I owe you. You know, that person's basically saying, you gave me a gift first, now I owe you. I love this picture. And that's exactly why we teach the VIP greeting. Give the gift first. It's the idea and the science of reciprocity. Now, it may increase your overhead a tad because you're giving a gift away to every new patient instead of just maybe ones who start treatment. But that's such a minuscule investment to make in order to start more people. I think everybody agrees on that. So give that welcome gift up front. And you have to have a staff that can verbally articulate its value as well up front as well, which goes back to another internal marketing method, which is verbiage and presentation. I want to thank you for listening, and a special thank you to all of our loyal followers out there and our clients and members of New Patient Group and the Dr. Diamond Club. Remember, subscribe to our Dr. Diamond Club podcast. You can find us on iTunes and other well-known places. Just type in Dr. Diamond Club. And remember to subscribe to our New Patient Group YouTube channel. Just enter New Patient Group into YouTube. And we ask you to subscribe and like as many videos as you can on there. Looking forward to talking to everybody again. We'll see you soon.